Welcome to Work in Progress, Conversations with Creators. I'm your host, Logan Beitmen. On today's episode, I'm pleased to be joined by Ava Maybee, a singer-songwriter from California. I caught her in the midst of her tour, and we had a great conversation. I hope that you enjoy.
If you enjoy our podcast, please like and subscribe and consider becoming a digital subscriber to the Albuquerque Journal to help us bring you more content like this. You can find this episode and all of our podcasts on the Albuquerque Journal website, abqjournal.com, as well as YouTube, iTunes, and Spotify. See the show notes for a discount code on a digital subscription. Thank you for supporting the Albuquerque Journal, New Mexico's leading news.
Ava, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
And let's talk about, you just have a new, it's like kind of your first full-length album, right, that you have out, Orange Drive?
Yeah, an EP, yeah.
Yeah, because I know you had some singles that, people loved, 12.5 million streams for Colors on Spotify, which is exciting. But yeah, I listened to this. It's a great album. And you worked with a couple producers. Was it Alex Agresti and Jake Nuffer? Is that right?
Yeah.
Tell me about that process. What was it like, kind of creating the album, working with them?
Yeah, they're just absolutely incredible. I randomly found Jake through his girlfriend. I didn't even know that they were dating. He makes music that I absolutely adore. And I reached out to him on Instagram, which I never really do. And I just DM'd him and was like, I don't know if you make music with other people, but I would love to get into a session with you. And he was like, yeah. And then he introduced me to Alex, who is his producer. And then we all just kind of platonically fell in love with each other. And now I make my music with them.
Yeah. So what's it like working with them? Like you come up with an idea for a song. I mean, just kind of walk me through the process.
Yeah, it's different every time. I mean, the thing that is most consistent is we're big on taking the pressure off of things, because I tend to put a lot of pressure on myself. And so we always start a song and we call them 10-minute warm-ups. Alex read about it from the lead singer of Wilco. He wants everything to be very childlike in the creative process. So we always start with a 10-minute warm-up, and so there's no bad ideas. You just get everything out there, which has been very helpful for us in terms of just not being like, oh, that's stupid, or I don't know if this is going to work, but just kind of pushing through. And we usually start with, Jake starts with a 4-chord progression on guitar, and then I'll come up with melodies, and then we'll all write the lyrics. And that's usually how it starts.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And you've been writing songs since you were 16, I think. Is that?
Mm-hmm.
How did you get started writing songs?
I started writing songs because I was a big journaler in middle school, and I was always a singer, but I wasn't a songwriter. And so I just kind of felt maybe I should put 2 and 2 together. And that's kind of how it started. But I feel like I'm very late to the game. The most people that I know started writing songs a very long time ago. So I still feel very green, very new.
Well, you're a good songwriter. And like you said, you were journaling. It seems like a lot of the songs on this album, if I'm not mistaken, are autobiographical, or partly. Is that they're inspired by actual people in your life?
Yeah, for sure. It's all autobiographical. I've yet to crack the code on how to write songs that are not about me. Maybe I'm just a narcissist, but I like writing songs about myself because I feel like I kind of just talk about what I know, and I hope that other people can connect to it. That's where I'm starting. But I think hopefully in the future, I would love to write a concept album or something that has nothing to do with myself. But I'm 24, so I'm very me. It's about me. So I'm hoping to grow out of that soon. Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know if you have to. I mean, I think a lot of the best singer-songwriters, all their stuff is about them, for their whole career, and your life changes. And so the songs change as you go. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's something to grow out of, right? But I always wonder though, with people that that their art is very autobiographical, how do the people in their lives feel? Like, do people know, like, the people who the songs are about, do they know that it's about them?
Yes. Yes. I don't know. I mean, I don't, I just think that the art speaks for itself. So I am also not, trying to define how people should perceive the song. Like, even though I could write a song about an ex-boyfriend, like, that might not be how someone connects to that song. And so who am I to be like, no, it's about an ex-boyfriend. I think that that's the beauty of music, is everyone gets their own thing out of it. But yeah, I think there are definitely like a couple ex-boyfriends that might be a little bitter, but that's not my problem.
Right. Yeah. It's their problem, I guess, for whatever
Yep,
caused them to become an ex, right?
exactly.
uh, no, but so you're on tour currently,
Yeah, I'm
and
currently in a Portland, Oregon hotel.
how is that going on the
It's
road?
good. It's good. It's just my first ever headline tour, so I'm really every night I'm just like, there are people here. This is great. And
Uh,
we just have a grand old time. It's been this is the second show that I've played on this tour, but this is my fourth show that I've played in like the past, whatever week. So we're tired and we're excited, and I can't wait to keep doing it. We got like 2 more weeks left.
oh yeah, it's exciting, and you're going to be here in Albuquerque on Monday, June 9th,
Yep.
Launchpad. So that'll be exciting. I'm excited to see you, and yeah, we're going to get this podcast out hopefully next week so people know about it. And
Cool.
yeah, that'll be great. So yeah, I want to talk a little bit more, I guess, about your process, writing songs, and musically. Maybe if you want to go through one of the songs. Well, I guess Gold Star Sticker, which that's the name of the tour, right? That was actually
Yep.
it's the first song in the album, but it was the last song that you wrote
Yeah.
for the album.
Yes.
Maybe
It was-
talk a little bit about that process on that specific song, how it evolved.
yeah. Yes. So I was writing a bunch of we were just making a bunch of demos, and kind of letting them have a life of their own to see how they all fit together. I mean, I think definitely something I learned about myself in this process is I do not write songs about things that are currently happening to me. I have to kind of like process and heal it in my own way and then write songs about it, which
Yeah.
I don't know if it's good or bad, but I think that it's something definitely that I've noticed about myself, where I don't really process and write. I have to process and then write.
Like you
So
need a little distance.
I need a little distance from it. I find it difficult to be going through something that I feel so deeply and then being like, how can I fit this into a pop chorus? That's hard for
Right.
me. So I like to have a little bit of distance from it, I think, just so I'm not as, I guess so I can see the full picture maybe.
Yeah.
So that was definitely the case with Gold Star Sticker. And so we had a bunch of demos, and then I'm a very visual person. So I started writing out all of the names of the demos on a piece of paper and kind of seeing how they would fit in the track list. And then I kind of came to realize that we did not have an opening track to start the whole story. We kind of like jumped into the middle of the story. So we spent like 2 weeks trying to write, not even write like the hit, but write a really solid, I really wanted kind of like a smack to the face opener. And
Yeah.
I also was thinking about how it would do, I don't know, how it would be live. I wanted a different opener than I usually have because the set's so different now. So then as soon as we started writing a different song, we started writing this song called Mean, which is the other new song on the
Yeah.
EP, which is a very different vibe. And from that 10-minute warm-up came Gold Star Sticker. and then we just wrote it and it just came to be. But as soon as we took the pressure off of like, we need to write this opening track, then of course it came out like nobody's business. So I loved that process. I think it was just a big lesson of like, you can't force anything creatively ever. And if you go into a session being like, I need to write this opening track to my EP, it's just not going to happen. So you got to let the chips fall where they may, I guess.
Right. I think that's good advice for kind of, like other, songwriters or musicians generally, you can't force it.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you can, but then it's bad and not authentic and it's not good. So, but you definitely can. But that's also the frustrating thing, because you can want it so bad, like so bad. And it just doesn't come. And not even specifically for a certain track, but just, I can go into a session being so excited to be in a session and to write songs, and then I got nothing that day. And it's really frustrating, but every day you're trying to like strike gold or like get lightning in a bottle, and it's virtually impossible. But then when you get it, it's the best feeling in the world.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I'm not a songwriter, but I'm a writer, and I find like sometimes it just flows and it's kind of like feels effortless, and then sometimes it's like I'm just feel like I'm bumping my head up against a wall. I don't know why. There's no rhyme or reason for why. For me, one day it's easy and one day it's not.
Yeah, it's like pulling teeth the majority of the time, but then I write a verse in 5 minutes and I'm like, this is the best thing I've ever written.
Do you go through a lot of revisions?
That's a great question. It depends on the song. Like, I get really bad demoitis, which is like when you listen to the demo so many times and you get used to like all of the flaws and imperfections in it, and you get the same like hit of dopamine when you're listening to the song and you're so proud of it and it's so great and you're coming off of like such a high from a great session, and then you get back to the session the next day and you're like, this song is not that good. It's not that good. But yeah, I don't know. I try and I like keeping my demo vocal. Like, a lot of songs have the same vocal that I did that day when we first wrote it, because it fits very well and feels good. But for like Gold Star Sticker, we did tons of revisions vocally. I did so many takes for that song, but it was important because also a vocal delivery really can make or break a song. Truly, if you sound tired, the song will be tired.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But sometimes you're saying kind of like the first take, it's like the most real, or yeah,
totally. Because also too, I'm not a very spontaneous person, so I like first takes because it's basically my only time of any type of spontaneity. And so sometimes it's better, I would say. I don't think about it too much.
That's interesting. But I know, so on this album, I mean, you have a kind of a new version of Colors Recolored, which sounds totally different from, and how did you decide on the new new arrangement or new production of that?
Yeah, I think that when we were looking at what was needed for the EP, I really wanted to put Colors in it because I wrote it about that time in my life. Like, I wrote the whole EP about the last 4 years of my life. So I wanted it to be on the EP. I didn't like the sound of a remix. It felt like it was going to be like a dance track or like
right.
I didn't want another feature on it because it's just so personal. And so I thought, well, how am I going to redo it in a way that felt authentic, in a way that made sense? Because I'm also like sonically in a very different place than I was when I first put out Colors. Like, the last 3 or 4 years of my career, I've gone through a lot of different genres of trying to find myself. Like, this EP really is like where I'm at and where I'm I mean, obviously I'm trying to push the confines of the genre of pop and going into indie pop and indie rock.
Yeah.
But
It's like a little bit more gritty, almost grungy kind of in places.
Yeah, exactly. The other colors has like, you got 2 chords. There's like 5 tracks in the whole thing. I wrote that song in like 10 minutes. And so we just wanted it to fit where I was now. So we just reharmonized it, added more chords, and then added a lot more like vocal arrangements. And we added a new part. And the ending is very different than the original colors. And I was really obsessed with like, how is this going to hit live? Like, I just wanted people to have a great time. And we kind of put the challenge on ourselves of like, how can we make colors kind of like headbanging at the end? Like, we went through so many versions of the end. Truly, we did like a full type of like Deftones ending for colors, and like we went through a bunch of different things, and then we landed on this, and it felt good. And I just wanted people to have a good time and feel a sense of like a release, because that's what that song is for me. And I felt like that was missing from the first version. So I'm very happy with the way it came out.
Yeah, I think you did a great job. And maybe, those other versions you could release sometime later for your fans. It might be fun.
Exactly. We'll do Colors Recolored 2, Recolored 3.
So how's it been actually performing it live then? Because you said you kind of wanted it to be have that quality.
It's been good. I was very nervous that people would be disappointed that they're not hearing the colors that they love. But people have been responding very well to it. And I love the ending where I just get to like rip on like, what was the color? I'm like yelling off my lungs and like kind of flailing around the stage. And it's so much fun. And then that's it. Like, there's no like fancy outro out. Like, it's literally hard stop, bye, and then like off the stage. Which I feel like is a very me thing to do, to have it be like a very like intense experience, and then me being like, that was so funny. Anyways, gotta go. Have a great night. So it's been really, 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 really fun to perform it live.
Yeah. No, it's like you end with a bang. It's kind of like a mic drop kind of at the end, Yeah. So the time period in your life, like you said, that these songs are covering, it's like the last 4. It's kind of, does it overlap with your time at NYU?
Yeah, it's basically all about my college experience.
And what was that like coming? Because you're from California, right? And then going to NYU.
I loved going to NYU. I knew that I was going to come back to Los Angeles, so I definitely wanted to go to college not in California. And the Clive Davis program was just absolutely insane. I did a summer program there, and I knew that I wanted to go. I did not want a typical college experience. I was like very attracted to the idea of being able to do classes and then go and perform and network and hang out with people in New York. I love New York. I miss New York so much. I am always craving to go back. And I just had the best experience. I mean, obviously like COVID hit during my freshman year, so I had to go back to LA, and then I stayed there. I stayed in LA for a year, and then I came back to New York, and then I did American Idol. So then I left for a semester, and then I came back for my senior year. But I wouldn't have it any other way. It was really incredible. And I think for a musician that is going to college for music, which is not required. No one has ever asked me if I have a college education in any session ever. But I didn't feel like I wasted my time, which I feel like a lot of musicians struggle with. I felt that I learned a lot and could apply what I was learning immediately, which was so great. And so I just had the best time.
Like, what's some stuff that you learned?
Like, we had a lot of, I was in the performance track. I tested out of a lot of the performance classes, like the singing classes and stuff like that. I didn't have to do those, which is fab. But I took a lot of music business classes. I took a lot of production classes. It's like you learn how to you get tested on like miking drums, and you get tested on different types of microphones, and it just helps you with touring. I think people assume that a female pop artist doesn't know what she's talking about, or like, because I'm young or anything like that. And so I always feel a lot better being like, no, I know just as much as you. Like
Right.
I feel empowered having the information that I need. And I also minored in child psychology. So my child psychology courses honestly were more helpful than my A&R courses in terms of how people connect to music. And I want to make music that, you know, heals your inner child. So that's also was very helpful.
Oh, that's really interesting. Yeah. I mean, like, did those courses help you kind of reflect on your life, and that came out in the lyrics?
Yeah, for sure. At NYU, you take your classes in like for your specific school, and then you
Yeah.
also have to take regular NYU classes in like the arts and sciences college. And I just started gravitating towards certain classes that were all in this one school. And so I was just like, I want to minor in it. It was just fantastic. They were my favorite classes I ever took. And they just really applied to what I was going through. I think college is such a time of self-reflection and self-discovery that it just kind of went hand in hand with my experience. And it really seeped into my music, and I think allowed me to be vulnerable and not feel like that's a weakness, but like a huge sense of empowerment for me. And so I think that it's a huge reason why I'm able to just like write about anything very freely and not feel embarrassed by it.
Yeah, I think that, you know, sometimes weirdly, like the more personal an artist can get, the more universal it becomes, you know.
Mm-hmm.
The people that try to write in a more general way, you know, it's kind of, then it's a little more generic. But if you're speaking truth, even if I haven't had exactly the same experience, the details are different, the emotions, you know, will hit, it'll resonate. I think that's
I
true.
100%. I 100% agree. I think the more personal, the better. I want it to be like weird and uncomfortable and fabulous. I mean, that's what I love. Like my favorite songwriters ever are the ones that it's like everything is very niche and very specific. And even though I'm not going through that personally, I just think it's really, really important to have like young female artists that are openly talking about mental health and their struggles with it. And I think it's just important when I have a lot of young fans, and when you're on a stage and there's that power dynamic and that person is being authentic and openly talking about anxiety and breakups and insecurities, I just think it's healing, and I think it's powerful, and I think it's necessary, and I wish more people would do it.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful, and it's important, and good that you're doing it. And I think a lot of people don't realize, like, you know, when you see a singer on a stage, I mean, part of what we're paying for with that ticket is to see confidence, I think, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so you come across as very confident, and here you seem you know, but that, you know, you struggle with anxiety. I think a lot of performers actually have anxiety, but it's kind of like, what happens when you go out on stage? Does it kind of go away, or how does that work?
Yeah, I used to have really bad performance anxiety. Like I would become a monster of a human being because I was so nervous.
Mm-hmm.
And then after I did American Idol, all of my nerves went away because nothing could be scarier than that
Right.
experience. Really. So after that, it was like a huge game changer for me, where I was like, nothing will be worse than that. No one is here to like judge you. You're not getting like eliminated by America. Like people are here to
Right.
connect with your music. And so just like have a good time. Because having a good time, I would argue, is infectious. Like if you see someone jumping up and down and laughing and having a great time and singing at the top of their lungs, then you want to do that in an audience too. And so that's also a big thing of like, people are afraid that they look like in an audience, that they look weird, that people are like you're weird, that I always, like, at the very beginning of all my shows, I'm just like, everyone here is weird and everyone here is like trying to have a good time, and I'm trying to have a good time. And so, like, give people space and let people dance and let them be themselves, because not a lot of people get opportunities to do that all the time. And we have like 1 hour together in this sacred space where we can openly talk about, like, hating ourselves and insecurities and breakups and feeling less than, and we still get to, like, let it go and dance. And there's not a lot of there's not a lot of times in your life in a public setting with groups of strangers where people feel like they can do that. It's one thing to dance with headphones on in your room by yourself, but I want people to have that type of energy at my show. So that's what I try and bring. It doesn't happen all the time, but when it does, it's kind of magical.
Well, that's beautiful. I think that's a good way to end. So everyone come out and see Ava Maybee, and we'll all get weird together and
Yes.
have a great time.
Yeah.